a tiny breakfast, 3 coffees and I'll eat later mantra, or even worse, eating is cheating. Your ego may love you, but let me tell you this, your body is not impressed. It's busy aging while you're busy underfueling. So today, I'll show you 5 nutrition mistakes that slow down every cyclist over the age of 40. But I'll also give you simple upgrades that will make you faster, leaner, and harder to break. You see, in my youth, I used to train like a pro but eat like a student on a budget. Coffee, cake, bananas, banana cake. You get the idea. Look, I had all the knowledge and I certainly had all the support, but I had to learn the hard way. Over the age of 40, your body can still rev and it can still let rip, but only if you fuel the system. You see, longevity isn't found in a supplement stack. It's built in the boring basics that you've got to repeat daily. The world's got this mantra, don't eat carbohydrates at the moment, even though your brain only fuels itself on glycogen. But maybe you have fallen into that trap because you've taken up cycling to lose weight. Maybe you think it's the only way you can lose weight is to exercise, create the calorie deficit, boom. But here's the thing, if you're struggling from fatigue, poor sleep, and seeing a plateau in your results, you're underfueling. Okay, now there are other reasons, maybe your training's not quite right, but it's probably linked to your fueling strategy. So let me give you an easy one, because I've got hundreds of them, but an easy one is to look at the training days and increase the calories on specific training days, not all of them, the training days that go over 90 minutes. But what about those short hard efforts, coach, I do? My Zwift races, all sorts of things I do at 40 minutes. You've probably got enough fuel in your day-to-day diet that's going to cover that, because we're going to cover that in mistake number 2 and mistake number 3 as well. But let's go to 90 minutes. Why? Because you've got muscles full of glycogen, full of calories. Most people have around 1,500 calories in their body. It's like a big suitcase. Some suitcases are bigger than others. I do appreciate that. And mine, you're shouting at, oh, look at him, the skinny freak. He's got a small suitcase. He could get hand luggage with that suitcase. Doesn't he need a big one? I live with the daily struggle of ulcerative colitis and the even bigger daily struggle of the side effects of the medicine. But yet I am in the 1% VO2 for my age group at the grand old father age of 55. You can do it, but it takes building habits. If you're going to go to 90 minutes, I want you to fuel 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate from the hour all the way through to 30 minutes after the exercise finishes. Can you fit that in that time? Sure you can. Do you feel like it? I don't really feel hungry. I don't care. You're fueling your system and getting it ready for the adaptation. Now, if you're going to go over 90 minutes, I want you to go to the 3-hour mark. So this is how you fuel 40 to 60 grams, hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, and then add on half an hour after 3 hours. Solid fuel. I want you staying away from those high caffeine gels. Okay, you don't need them. You haven't trained your muscles to their true capacity. So your gut is undertrained. You're training your gut. You're training your absorption of food. You're training your ability to use it while moving. Okay? Because your gut is starting to decrease blood flow. It's sending it to the muscles, so it becomes a little bit difficult. Yeah, so you got to experiment with different types of foods. You got to make your own. Yeah, you can do it. Okay, you go over 3 hours. Yeah, you're ready for that. That's when you kick in with liquid fuel, powdered fuel in your water, your gels if you need them. I always put a gel in my back pocket. It's like break glass in emergency. Only ever take it if I really have overcooked the ride. But if you start with this strategy, you won't go wrong, because you will therefore level out your fuel intake during the day, have the extra during the ride, a little bit extra in that 30 minutes after, and then stick to a plan that means you never, ever, ever, ever get hungry. Because as soon as you're hungry, your body is failing. It is not adapting. And that hunger is going to lead to you eating shit. It's going to break down your training plan, and it's going to stop the resynthesis of those wonderful muscles that you're developing. Mistake number 2, proteins. Yes, the cousin of carbohydrates, of course it is. Now, what mistakes are people making? Well, so many, because first of all, people are confusing protein with extra calories, so they're cutting them down because they're trying to lose weight. It all goes back to this maintenance of weight. But you see, the thing is with proteins, especially as we get older, they're building blocks. They're the repair medicines in your system. If you're going to train and you're going to work hard and you're going to underfuel with proteins, you're going nowhere. Let me tell you this, you might as well stop. Because as you get older, you need them even more. Why? Because you're losing those muscles faster than you're losing your hair. Think of the numbers. The numbers are brandished about, but they're hard to follow, aren't they? What does 1.5 grams to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight mean? It means exactly that. That's what you need. You need to multiply the grams by your own weight and try and get them in a day. Now, science tells you you've got to be nearer the 2 grams, especially if you're over the age of 50. I would say just don't fall below the 1.5. From when? Well, you're going to try and do it today or tomorrow. You're not going to get there. Trust me, it's going to take you a couple of weeks to work out what you're taking in, where you're going to get it, and making sure that you don't then undervalue things like fibre, for example. Oh yeah, people that increase protein forget about bloody fibre, and then they are in trouble, okay? So take your time. But here's a couple of things that go against the grain of what the internet may tell you. Take a protein shake immediately after your workout. Sure, that's going to be okay, but always remember that after the workout, immediately after, I want you getting glycogen in. You need carbohydrates to fuel your immune system, because your immune system, that's where you're going to supercharge your adaptation. Because he's the guy that's dealing with it all. But 2 hours after your workout, or 90 minutes, your nervous system flips back into rest and digest, so your blood flow to your belly is better. And where do we get the best protein from? Solid. So whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or you just eat anything that fucking moves, that's when you want to get it in, okay? So try and flip to a simple strategy of understanding where your protein's coming from, how much you're getting, and then when you can supplement with a protein shake. You're screwing up your hydration. You're worrying more about your electrolytes, but we're going to add them sensibly. But your hydration is so important. Sure, you might be drinking a lot of water each day, but I talk about this so many times. You want to weigh in and then weigh out after the workout. What you're losing during that 40, 60, 90, 3-hour, 4-hour ride is fluid. Even in the cold days, you're sweating. Even in the short workouts, you're sweating. And getting an understanding of what you're losing so that you can repair afterwards. So immediately, what you want to do is look at the difference in the weight, replace that with fluid equivalent to the weight loss, and add 500 millilitres, because that's going to count for passive sweat over the next hour and a bit that you're going to lose as extra. But the thing is with electrolytes, I want you to get them in before the workout. So if you're going to be doing a session that's going to require hot conditions, it's going to be sweaty, you know you're going to lose fluid. Take the electrolytes before the session, like you would do for carbohydrates before the session. If you're going out on a long ride, make sure the day before you've got your electrolytes. Even if you're just taking an electrolyte tablet, that's okay. But don't wait to during and don't wait to after. Do it prior. What am I actually doing? Oh, I'm going out for a ride and it's going to get wet and I'm getting my cameras ready. But mistake number 4 is all about timing and fasting. If you're fasting, stop! Please stop! Don't apply it to a training strategy that's going to see great results quickly, because it's not. Look, yes, I follow a program of fasting, but for medical reasons, and that's in the evening. I'll show you, because it might help you. But when it comes to workouts, I see so many people, yeah, I do all my workouts fasted. Great, okay, but in terms of getting long-term gains for your weight management and your fitness, it's not going to work, okay? I'm telling you. One of the greatest fasting programs that I ever saw was my own. Maybe you did it. Fat for Fuel. Thousands of people accessed that program and it got results, but we're talking about 20 to 30 minutes of exercise, combination of zone 2 and zone 3, done at a particular time of the day. No, I'm not going to go on about it. You get it for free inside Bulletproof, but it helps trigger and roll out the red carpet for fat oxidization. It's not just going to melt fat and you're going to wake up, sculpted. You got to do the work. But here's what I want to share with you, and it's about when you eat your last meal of the day. Too many people blame life, their boss, work, family. I gotta eat late, coach. Okay, great. But here's what's happening. It's disrupting your sleep, and it's not really pushing you forward to a sustainable future of longevity and fitness. So can you try and use the science and stop eating 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep? If you can hit 3 hours, great. 2 hours, that's perfect. Now let's say what happens if you're outside of that window. Can you eat something smaller? What, miss my evening meal? My banquet of sitting with my feet up, my hand in my crutch, watching all the TV? Well, if you're super serious about results, then yes, I am. Delaying a bigger meal for the next day. Because too many people, especially in my country, eat far too much in the second half of the day than they eat in the first half of the day. Why? Because they're too busy? No, they're too lazy. That's why. If you fall into that trap, when your body's slowing down and you're putting more fuel in there, that's why you've got a weight problem. That's why you've got a fitness problem. It's your fault, okay? I mean, I'm being harsh, but you've got to accept responsibility for it because nobody else is going to fix it. You're the one driving this body. So it's a simple little thing. That timing is really important because that gives you a period whereby you're probably 12 hours before you have your next meal. So it's giving your gut a time to rest because you're training your gut, aren't you? You're getting more used to solid fuels on the bike and you're training it during that period to rest, recover and repair. Yes, of course it's going to repair. The healthier the gut, the healthier your absorption of all those key nutrients. Yeah, you'll start seeing results because trust me, doing a workout is easy. Anyone can do it. Doing the work after the workout, that's the hard bit. That's where the gains really come. Most people lead you down a path that you need far too many supplements because your body's ill-trained to extract the key minerals and vitamins from good food because they assume that you're not eating good food or you're not eating real food. I mean, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? But the supplements should also come through science, shouldn't they? And that would mean a blood test, wouldn't it? Or some analysis of what's missing in your system. Because it's too easy to watch David fucking Golden Balls Beckham consume on one advert some supplements and then on the next one some Stella Artois beer. I mean, is it not confusing? But the thing is, let me share with you what I do. So mine is based on blood tests because although I've got an illness, and you might think, oh, poor you, I don't think that, but I get lots of blood tests with it, so it's win-win. So I know exactly what's there. Now, going back in history, my coaching career has spanned over 30 years, and in that time I've been a DNA coach as well. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to tell you who your real father is. No, I'm going to tell you what you're absorbing, so I know how my body works, even in its prime, which it's not anymore. So I take 5 grams of creatine on a daily basis, and I take it with a protein supplement that I only take when my training goes over 90 minutes. So I do it in those days, and I take it either at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. because I take 5 meals a day. 5 smaller meals a day, and 3 of them are almost identical every single day. But it's all around my training, whether I take it in the morning, if there's been a harder session the day before, etc., depending on the time I finish. But I also take cod liver oil. This helps me because I'm not good at absorbing that in my system. I also take a lot of nitrates, but I take them in solid form through beetroot. It's almost a daily consumption for me in my diet. And I've found a lot of success from this, and my blood results show it as well. Now, I don't take lots of B vitamins, I don't take vitamin D, even though I live in Scotland, I get plenty of it. My results show this. But what I do is I stick to a pattern of smaller, manageable meals, and I don't go any more than 3 hours without eating. No matter what the excuses there could be, I'm super busy, etc. Because I treat each day like I would do on my bike. When was the last time you went out 3 hours and you never ate anything? But you're consuming, I know you're using energy, but think about it. It's just logic. Because the people who make the gains are not the people who necessarily train the hardest, they're people who train the smartest, okay? And you've got to train smart, which means you've got to fuel the journey of longevity and the journey of fitness. It's quite simple, my friend. Hey, as I get my shoes on, I want to do a big shout out to Milo Smith. He's just started phase 2 of the Bulletproof program and he's commented, you can read it yourself, Bulletproof is the best thing I have ever done. Okay, yeah, consistency, community. It works. Of course it works. That's what I've been talking about in this video. So if you fancy a piece of that, why don't you click the link, book a free orientation call. Let's find out if Bulletproof is the right decision for you or not. And if not, I'll still give you 8 weeks of free training just to get your momentum going, okay? This training's helped hundreds of riders already. Hey look, as always, I've got another video popped up for you. You keep smiling, keep spinning, and keep following a nutrition plan that works for you, please. Because the workouts are easy. Even the hard ones are easy. Easy to do. It's the recovery that's not the same. My jacket's hiding. Ah, there it is.